Good evening from downtown Houston. I'm Ed Cohen with the former Chicago Bulls guard Jay Williams. And Jay, here in Rockets land, you think of Calvin Murphy, Moses Malone, and of course the dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. But a new chapter being written right now here in Texas.
Oh yeah, you think about Clutch City, Hustle Town, USA. But put all that aside, this team for the last several years has been on the edge of success. Let's see if they can take the next step.
And when you think of the Rockets, you think fun. This one could be as well tonight. Jay, many saw this coming for the Rockets. Their goal was to seize home court advantage in the West. They did in the regular season. No one saw this coming from Indiana. The reason, Victor Oladipo.
And a lot of people in Indiana didn't even see this one coming, Indiana fans in particular, because they were throwing up an outrage for the fact that management got rid of the likes of Paul George, a perennial all-star. But Nate McMillan knew exactly what they were doing. You bring in a guy like Victor Oladipo, a guy who played at Indiana University that can get everybody else to buy in. And this team is one of the most efficient offenses due to the fact that they play fast, averaging 109 points per 100 possessions. That's the best offense they've had since their 1994-95 season.
Pacers fans came around. Jay, think about this. Nate McMillan, a stalwart defender in his days with Seattle as a player. Now his team an offensive juggernaut as a head coach. Houston with the basketball. To Harden. Here's a chance from long range, and James Harden, not sure why he was so wide open there. Sometimes it looks like he's not locked in, but think otherwise.
Let's be honest. Sometimes he is not locked in when the ball isn't in his hands. But do you need James Harden to be locked in 100% of the time? No, you need him to be locked in 95% when he has the ball in his hands. That's when something spectacular is going to happen offensively for your team.
Hall across the timeline. Leads just a point. Capella to Harden. Here comes the screen. It's Harden. James Harden, 2 for 2. That's what you want. The challenge defending a guy who can be a 1 or a 2.
We're not old men talking about this game. We don't define players by positions anymore. Is he a 1 or is he a 2? No, he's James Harden. He is a scorer and an elite passer.
Miles Turner slams it down.
Ed, did you see what this pass just did? Now it encourages his teammates to move with more sense of urgency because they understand that next time down the court, they might be on the receiving end of that pass.
Harden. Leaving no doubt. Slams it down. He climbed the ladder on that one.
Well, the question is, how big is the ladder? He's still climbing.
Pacers with the possession to Young. Pacers, Jay, were good last year. Then they got better in free agency.
They lose Lance Stevenson to L.A., but then they get a ton of under-the-radar type of players. Kyle O'Quinn, who provides toughness. Doug McDermott, 6'10 shooter from the outside, pick-and-pop type of player. Imagine that with Victor Oladipo. You get a guy like Tyreke Evans, who's an explosive scorer. And then Aaron Holiday. He might be the key. The third Holiday brother could be the backup PG of the future.
Collison to Oladipo. Screen coming. Oladipo to Collison. The Pacers with 4 to shoot. Young off the mark.
See, I don't like that shot right there. Pass the ball, get the defense moving, maybe set a hard screen, roll to the rim, see the ball go in a couple of times before you settle for a mid-range jumper that's contested.
Nothing going here on that drive. Harden. He made his first effort, but not that time.
Just because you're an elite shooter doesn't mean you need to shoot the ball every possession. Maybe give a head fake, crack into the defender, get to the free throw line, see the ball go in the hole.
With the rock, it's Chris Paul. To P.J. Tucker. Takes stock of the floor. James Harden fires for 2. Deep 2 there. Won't go. Has a look. Oladipo, not that time.
The most important thing a shooter can do is continue to shoot. The defense is always going to give great effort, but it's more of your psyche that goes into the next shot that will limit you on whether you make the shot or not.
Defense making the ball carrier work. Tucker to Harden. The shot clock expires. Both coaches hitting the reset button. Fresh legs coming onto the floor.
Off the mark. And a lot of times in this league, teams take days off. But this defense keeps maintaining that style of pace defensively. This is going to be a dogfight.
Rockets in control of the basketball. Harden to Paul. Harden. Double figures in the first quarter, now at 10, including that three.
And the more and more I watch, I become mesmerized with that follow-through. That release is effortless.
To Oladipo. No good. Defense catching a break there. Now Paul with the basketball. 12-6 our score. Harden with a shot, won't go. Joseph with it. He'll run the offense. Now a steal as the Rockets have it. Yes, and the foul. And a chance at three coming up.
So many times we get on the defender for quote-unquote letting the offensive player score on an and one. Sometimes there's a lucky bounce, but more often than not, it's the offensive player who makes the play happen despite the defender's best intentions.
James Harden at the line for a chance at a three-point play. A career 85% free throw shooter. Harden hits the free throw. It's a three-point play. The Rockets extend their lead. Indiana with the basketball. Can't connect. Paul with it up top. It's a 9-point lead. To Harden. Has a chance. The shot no good by Harden. Going to launch beyond the arc. His first effort off the mark. Paul into the front court. The lead stands at 9. Harden to P.J. Tucker. Here's CP3. Cashes in. Someone has to get into a zip code.
That's a good run right here to end the first quarter to open up that lead. If you're the coach of this team, you have to like the effort your guys are giving.
To Evans. The shot almost. Paul into the front court. Shot clock turned off as they get a chance to build their lead. Over to the right side. Here comes the screen. Harden. He was all over him. Desperation shot here from half court. So the Rockets with the lead after one at Toyota Center. Jay and I return to Houston after this. It's the NBA, and it's on EA Sports. Ed Cohen, Jay Williams with you as we get things started here in the second quarter. Houston takes over. Jay, last year, Rockets 65-17. Good for #1 record in the West. What's going to be good enough this year for the Rockets to get to the NBA Finals?
Well, you need CP3 to be healthy. If he's healthy, you can make an argument that the Rockets may have won the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. But also, I think James Harden needs to continue to build on his play in the playoffs in particular. Everybody knows about how great he was during the regular season. But those last 6 games against the Golden State Warriors, he really struggled from the three-point line. He shot 37% during the regular season. He shot 20% in the Western Conference Finals.
Paul to Chris. James Harden. Almost, but no good. Collison into the front court. We're a minute into the second quarter. to Evans. Five to shoot for Indiana. And the rebound by Tucker. Gordon with it. It's an 11-point game. To Paul for three. Off the mark. No good. The follow won't go either. Into the front court comes Collison. Looking to make something happen. Nothing going here on that drive. Finishing inside the paint on that one.
Might have had an extra dribble or two there, but he got the shot he wanted.
Here's Harden with the rock. To Paul. No, great defense there, forcing the pickup. Tucker to Paul. Ooh, Chris Paul. 2 of 4 now. When you look at playmakers in the last decade plus, what sets Chris Paul apart?
He always puts you in a position to succeed. He leads because he's vocal, and when he directs and he guides, there is nobody better at the position than CP3.
Gordon with it. The lead is 11. Oh, the pass stolen by Indiana. And he's fouled. A trip to the line coming up.
Smart play to rip through the extended arm of the defender. That will get you to the free throw line every time.
Knocks down the first. Goes 2 for 2 at the line. Here's Paul, controlling the offense. Probing the defense. Chance for Paul. Ooh, Chris Paul. He's 3 of 5, 60% shooting from the field. He has that sixth sense that you just can't teach.
He's like a traffic cop, and he's navigating a myriad of bodies coming his way. And there's a smaller innuendo of the game that nobody talks about. When he makes a great pass, he'll tell the offensive player, shoot it, go up, dunk it. He will direct you and lead you to success.
To Paul. The Pacers come away with the steal. Jay, no question, the Pacers were the surprise of the NBA last year. What are your expectations for them now?
Top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's what they have to be. And I think for Kevin Pritchard and Nate McMillan, the post-George era has begun far better than expected. And it all starts with Victor Oladipo. Last year, he was the guy, but this year, he needs to become the man.
I got ball. That's me.
To Paul. Lets it fly from beyond the arc. That's good D. Shot no good.
Shooters shoot. Period. I don't want to hear any excuses. That's why you're on the floor. You keep doing what you're doing with that superior confidence.
Evans. Gets a shot up off the mark. Paul. To P.J. Tucker. Here comes the screen. Tucker. Shot clock to 4 for Houston. From long range, always has a chance for Tucker, but not that time. Pacers control. Oh, straight down the middle, 4-2.
I could see the beads of sweat forming when he had to put the ball on the ground there. You still got it, though.
Now the Rockets will use a timeout as they'll take a moment to go over things here in the second quarter. Time to adjust. Both coaches making changes on the floor. short jumper stays out.
It's so important to instill confidence in your best player. I know he missed a shot earlier, but that doesn't mean that you can't run the same exact play and let him prove he's a player he thinks he is, and we all know he is.
Inside, he scores.
Everybody in the building, including myself, thought that pass was going somewhere else. Fool me once? Okay, but you're definitely not fooling me twice.
Trying to cash in and scores. Nice move, Jay.
No doubt about where that one was headed.
It's Indiana basketball. Oladipo. Paul across the timeline. His team up by 7. Has a look. Unbothered by the defense as he drills it.
You feel that? I see the confidence building.
To Oladipo. To Young. Beyond the arc for 3. And Victor Oladipo, quick catch and shoot that time for 3.
Okay, I see you throwing the ball like a quarterback in the pocket for the touchdown.
Now Paul with the basketball. His guys can hold for the final shot. Screen coming. Deep 3 at the buzzer. Good. A 3 at the buzzer. Everything going right so far as they've extended the lead. That's it. First half has come to an end. The Rockets with the lead.
The Rockets didn't hold back in that opening half. And these guys have every reason to feel good about how they scored effectively in that opening half. Great offensive display. These are the guys getting buckets for the Houston Rockets. The Pacers have yet to appear after one half of basketball. And when you're down this much, some players will be tempted to just ease up. They've got to resist that temptation. Back to Ed and Jay to bring you the second half action.
Ed, you ready for another fun fact about the Houston Rockets?
Let's do it.
Okay, the team was established in 1967, was given the name the Rockets because San Diego was the home to many space-age manufacturers. When the team eventually moved to Houston, the name still fit, giving Houston's association with NASA.
Wow, so Houston, we have a problem? All of that associated with space? Who knew?
Are you saying that because Carmelo Anthony's in town?
No, Apollo 13.
Oh, okay.
Pacers with the possession. Collison to Young. From the painted area, won't go down. Paul with it up top. His guys lead here, early stages, third quarter. Here comes the screen. Paul to Harden. Scores on the step back. Unguardable, Jay. Can only imagine how frustrating that is to stop.
It's beyond an arduous task for the defender. I'm getting frustrated even talking about it. Let me tell you 2 reasons why. Number 1, he's been top 5 in the league since the 2012-13 season in free throws attempted per game. That's pretty impressive. Will make any defender hesitant. And number 2, whenever the league implements a rule about you called the Harden rule, for his knack for drawing cheap fouls, that's going to make any defender have a difficult time guarding Mr. Harden.
They get it down to Tucker. Count the basket, and it could have been more. No whistle.
Did you see that change of direction mid-flight? And also the English he utilized to spin the ball off the rim? That was a thing of beauty.
To Oladipo. To Young. The Pacers with 4 to shoot. Doesn't have the touch. No good. Paul into the front court. The advantage is 13 points. Here comes the screen. Paul to P.J. Tucker. 4-3. Won't go down. The follow won't go either.
Ed, the game is so different. In today's NBA, defenders are longer, quicker, and more athletic than we've ever seen before. So offensively, as a shooter, you either have to be able to create more space off the dribble for your shot or have a much faster release. Ideally, you have both in your arsenal.
Young. And now Houston has the basketball. Paul. Turner to Collison. Nothing going here on that drive. Yes, Victor Oladipo. He's now shooting 5 for 7.
Ooh, shows like this separate the good players from the great ones. The good players, they have good first halves, and then they fade to black in the second. The great players, they just sustain that kind of dynamic energy throughout the entire ball game.
Shut up.
With the fadeaway, burns him for the basket. Jay, he's played for a number of teams in the Western Conference, no less. What do you make of Paul and his willingness to embrace a challenge?
Well, for the first 12 years of his career, he was ball dominant. The ball was forced to be in his hands every possession because nobody else, other than CP3, could make a play. Now there's a shared responsibility with the playmaking skills, and that only allows him to play looser, to play freer, to play more like he played in college, hunting his own shot and thinking pass second, score first.
Harden to Capella. Oh, he's denied. Shot clock violation.
Don't stare him down like that afterwards.
Looks like both teams are making substitutions. Jay, sum it up. Why was Victor Oladipo the most improved last year?
Because he was no longer Robin. Victor Oladipo has become Batman, and he's owning the responsibility of becoming Batman. And this is going to be a great year for him because he attacks the game the same way Russell Westbrook does. That short stint at OKC taught Victor Oladipo how to compete 24/7.
To Evans. Collison. Darren Collison shakes free from a tough matchup and buries it.
Today's league just throws that old school stuff out of the window. Why have twos when you can shoot threes, even on fast breaks? Guys spread out towards the three-point line instead of laying the ball easy at the rim.
Paul. Shot clock's at 5. Down to 4. Chance for Chris Paul. Ooh, Chris Paul. With that shot, he's 5 for 8. There's a sixth sense there that you just can't teach.
If you're a player on the same team with CP3, you should be taking that point guard out to dinner every single night. There's something to be said about a guard that makes the game way easier for you to be even more of an efficient offensive player.
Evans. Looks like some substitutions are coming on in.
Number 6, Corey Joseph.
Here's Paul. Brings it up the floor. To Gerald Green. To Paul. Rockets with 4 to shoot. Tucker to Gerald Green. Fires the three. Contested. No problem. Gerald Green with the three.
They're shooting the ball well, but let me tell you why. They're already ready to shoot before they even catch the ball. Look at their hands. Their hands are ready, providing a target. So when they catch that ball, they go right into their shot. We call that being shot ready.
Deep two there. Won't go. Oh, with the foul. And a chance coming up at the line.
Sometimes when you get up big, you get a little careless. But attention to detail through the end, that's how you avoid unnecessary fouls.
First one goes down. Two for two on that trip. It's Rockets ball. Paul to Carter Williams. Here comes the screen. Paul to P.J. Tucker. Shot clock to 4 for Houston. Carter Williams to Chris. Lets it fly from long range.
That's his first personal.
Marquise Chris at the line. Misses the first. Knocks down the second free throw. Indiana with the basketball. Oladipo to Evans. Surveys the floor. Evans to Oladipo. The jumper's off the mark. Carter Williams with it up top. Shot clock turned off as they try to stuffs it down with authority.
Man, they are just continuing to pour it on. But the one thing we know about in this league, you have to make sure that you continue to play with energy because leads can evaporate quickly.
Now preparing to shoot at the line.
Okay, now we're on the home stretch, and you got a big lead. Don't let your opponent back in this game by giving up extra possessions.
Victor Oladipo at the line. And hits the first free throw. Good free throw shooting. Knocks down a pair. Deep three at the buzzer. 3 quarters complete. It's been all Rockets. So the Pacers with the basketball to start the fourth quarter. And not a whole lot you could do in this situation other than give it your best shot.
And players don't like to hear this, Ed, but the reality of the matter is this is a character-building opportunity. Yes, you may lose this game, but that does not mean that you do not fight each and every possession.
Has a chance. He connects off the step back.
There you go. I like seeing his scoring coming from unlikely sources.
Gordon with it. His team on top by 13. Gerald Green to Carter Williams. Tough looking shot there. Still gets it to go down.
Well, the shooting has been spectacular, but one of the things that I've seen as the difference maker in this ball game is how they are catching the basketball. They're not establishing a pivot foot, which leaves the defense wondering which way you can drive, but when that shot is working like that, you got it any way you want it.
Wide open look, won't go.
You see, Ed, this is where coaches get fired. It's great to have good offensive sets, but if you can't execute, then the play was a failure.
Add 2 points to the board.
And what a postseason run last year for Eric Gordon. He's the perfect complementary player with James Harden and CP3. But in April and May, there was nothing complimentary about E. Gordon. He was an absolute star.
To Evans. Here comes the screen. Evans. 5 to shoot for Indiana. Fires the three. Can't go down. Smothering defense.
And look, sometimes you don't have it going every single night. Maybe utilize yourself as a decoy and get some teammates involved with your passing.
Big pick right there.
To Gerald Green. Here's a chance from long range. Not going down here. Joseph with it. His guy's down big. Goes to the left. Collison. A bad pass as the Rockets come away with it.
Tonight, it may not cost you, but in a playoff game, it will.
Trying to cash in. Cleared by the Pacers. Collison into the front court. Down a bundle. Evans. Here comes the screen. Evans. Shot from McDermott, no good. Carter Williams with it up top. His guys holding the big lead. To Gerald Green. Going to launch beyond the arc. Tough shot for Gerald Green. Off the mark.
Shooters shoot. Period. I don't want to hear any excuses. That's why you're on the floor. You keep doing what you're doing with that superior confidence.
And he buries it.
The defense needs to be in more of a stance and react better. A player with that kind of NBA talent level will get to the rim every time with moves like that.
We get a whistle and a timeout for Houston as they'll talk things over here in this fourth quarter. Changes coming from both sides right now. Harden. The screen sets him up for two.
It just seems like nobody can stop him but him. Once he's found his offensive swag, that boy's deadly.
Pacers control.
Defense, let's go.
Collison to Young. The drive right to the basket. Yes, and a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
And I know there's so much excitement about the play, but everybody looks at the player. More people need to pay attention to the guy at the end of the bench, the strength and conditioning coach, because this kid's been putting in the time and effort every day in the weight room.
Darren Collison trying to cash in on the three-point play. A career 85% free throw shooter. Free throw good for the three-point play. It's back to a 14-point game. Harden in possession. Looking to make something happen. To P.J. Tucker. Rockets with 4 to shoot. Short jumper won't go down.
Let's be realistic. He's probably not going to miss a lot of shots. But the more effort you can give, you want to try to tire him out. Take his legs away. Make him work to catch the ball. That's how you win a defensive battle.
To Carter Williams. Inside, he scores.
What a pass. I have no clue how that ball even made it through the traffic.
It's Indiana basketball to Young. Almost, and he's not getting the call. Carter Williams with it up top. His guys hold a commanding lead. Capella to Harden.
Hey, big screen right there, big screen.
Shot clock to 4 for Houston. Harden shoots. Not that time. To Collison. He shoots. Oh, off the mark. Carter Williams with it up top. He'll run the offense. To Capella. Harden. Over to the right side. To Capella.
Watch cutter. Side up.
Gets a look. Can't hit.
Oh, I see how you're playing this chess match. That's what you keep doing defensively. Keep baiting him and luring him into shooting that jump shot. Exploit him.
To Harden. Has a look. Offensive rebound.
Oh, and he can't keep it in off the block.
Man, that was impressive. Mixing things up. Hockey line substitutions. Both teams making changes. Tucker. Rockets with 4 to shoot. 24-second violation. Deep three at the buzzer. It's the Rockets who are victorious as they win this one handily. That'll wrap things up. For Jay Williams and our entire crew, I'm Ed Cohen. This has been a presentation of the NBA on EA Sports.
The Rockets put together a nice win here today. You ask me, and I'll tell you, it was the ball movement that made all the difference. There's something to be said for a team that can win as a group, and that's what happened here today. Check out the leading scores for the Houston Rockets. The Pacers didn't lose big, but it wasn't exactly close either. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you can tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss.
Game track. Assists. Player of the game.
James Harden gets the award for the most obvious reason, and that's his scoring output. He couldn't be stopped, and it was incredible to watch. Here are the top 3 plays from the game.
Number 2. number 1.
On behalf of Ed Coyne and Jay Williams, this is Jalen Rose signing off.